All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty fascinating idea, and it's a little counterintuitive. What if the real key to raising your energy, your vibration, isn't about becoming more of something, but actually about unbecoming? I mean, just start with this question for a second. What if you could shift your entire energetic state so profoundly that you become almost unrecognizable, even to yourself? And we're not talking about some kind of surface-level change here. We're talking a complete, fundamental transformation of your frequency. So here's the core idea, and it's a bit of a mind-bender. The path to that higher vibration. It's not about adding new things, striving for more, or becoming some better version of yourself. It's actually a process of subtraction. It's about letting go of all the layers that aren't the real, authentic you.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. You see, the whole path of becoming is based on effort, right? You're thinking more, chasing more, adding more, and all that does, a lot of the time, is just create resistance. But unbecoming, that's the total opposite. It's about allowing. It's about thinking less, undoing all those old patterns, and just finding presence. It's a huge shift from pushing to just releasing.
Okay, so to really get what unbecoming means, we first have to look at what we're moving away from. Let's call it the contracted self. This is basically the state of being that holds us back and keeps our vibration kind of stuck. Now get this, the average person has somewhere between 60 and 70,000 thoughts a day. That is a staggering number. But the problem isn't really the thoughts themselves, it's our constant reaction to them. We get hooked, we identify with them, we try to control them, and we just get lost in all that mental chatter. And that's a huge part of being in that contracted state. And all that mental noise, well, it creates these really common survival patterns. I mean, do any of these sound familiar to you? The constant overthinking, the need to control every little outcome because uncertainty just feels so unsafe. Or maybe people-pleasing, just to feel like you belong. These aren't character flaws, by the way. They're just defense mechanisms that end up keeping us feeling small and stuck. So, here's the bottom line. The contracted self isn't who you are. It's just a state you fall into. It's totally driven by those old survival patterns and this deep-seated belief that you are your thoughts. And what's the result? Well, it literally blocks the natural, high-vibrational energy that is always meant to be flowing right through you. Okay, so now that we've kind of put a name to the problem, let's talk about the solution. How do we actually shift from that tight, contracted state to one that's more open? Turns out there's a really practical framework for this whole process of letting go. It really boils down to 3 pretty powerful steps that take you on this inner journey. You start up in the mind, learning to just observe your thoughts. Then you drop down into your body to welcome all those physical sensations. And finally, you connect to the incredible intuitive power of your heart. So let's break each of these down. All right, step 1 is all about creating some space. Instead of getting totally swept away by the hurricane of your thoughts, you just take a step back. I love this analogy. Imagine you're just sitting on a park bench, and your thoughts are like people walking by. You don't run after them, you don't judge them, you don't try to stop them, you just watch. That simple shift helps you realize, oh, I'm not my thoughts, I'm the one watching them. So step 2 takes us out of the head and drops us right into the body. All those heavy emotions we've spent years avoiding, like fear or shame or guilt? Well, they get stored in our bodies as these little energetic blockages. This step is about finally giving those sensations permission to just be felt. And when you welcome them instead of pushing them away, you allow all that trapped energy to finally process and release. Wow, it is so freeing. And the final step is to shift your entire awareness to your heart. Now, this is where it gets really cool, because there's actual science here. Research shows the heart's electromagnetic field is literally thousands of times more powerful than the brain's. So when you consciously put your attention on your heart, you're not just thinking positive thoughts, you are tapping into this incredible source of intuitive intelligence that works way beyond the limits of your logical mind. So you start practicing these steps. What actually happens? What does this transformation feel like? Well, it's not about climbing a mountain. It's more like letting go and just naturally floating up. This analogy just says it all, doesn't it? Think about a cork and water. What does it naturally want to do? It floats. The only way to keep it underwater is to actively hold it down, to apply resistance. Well, your high vibrational self is exactly like that cork. Floating is your natural state. To rise, you don't have to try to float. You just have to let go of whatever's been holding you down. You know that famous Rumi quote, "What you seek is seeking you"? We usually think it means something external is trying to find us. But this perspective totally reframes it. Maybe what it really means is that everything you're looking for, the peace, the joy, the abundance, it's not out there somewhere, it's already inside of you, just waiting to be uncovered.
And that's really the heart of this entire idea. Your highest vibration isn't some prize you win at the end of a long, hard struggle. It's not something you have to achieve or attain. It's simply who you already are, underneath all the noise, underneath all the stories. It's the state that just naturally emerges when you finally let go of the resistance.
So we'll just leave you with this one last thing to think about. If you were to let go of all of it, all the stories you tell yourself about who you are, what you've been through, what you're capable or not capable of, who would you be then?